elections do matter. I'm going to remind you of what I said those few weeks ago. If Hillary Clinton had been the president, we wouldn't be sitting here having this horrible outcome in our country.
Hello, everybody! Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are ours. These days are ours. Black gray sky, hello blue. There's nothing can hold me when I hold you. So right, it can't be wrong. Rocking and rolling all week long.
Children are having depression. But I didn't know any black people. No, I really didn't. You didn't know any white people either.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, what a day. Grooving all week with you. These days are ours.
That's what real leadership looks like. We just witnessed real leadership.
Consider this. A new Yahoo News YouGov survey found that if the presidential election were held today, voters prefer Donald Trump to President Joe Biden 44 to 42%. Like the markets, Biden's approval rating continues to decline. He's now at 56% disapproval, 47% say strongly.
So I'm sick of this stuff. We have to talk about it because the American people think the reason for inflation is government spending more money. Simply not true.
In some big ways, this administration, including the president and some of his closest economic advisors, got inflation wrong. We've heard that correction from some of his top officials, including the Treasury Secretary.
So I'm sick of this stuff.
And Joe Biden is about real leadership in our country, and I'm honored to be with you, Joe.
He's shaking hands with the air. He's walking around somewhat bewildered. I'd say it's no good. And taking orders from the Easter Bunny. You saw that one? No. You know, the Easter Bunny was a political operative. He did a good job, actually. That guy, we should hire that guy. He was very good.
I've been saying for now well over a year, he is not fit to serve. He's not fit to serve. He's one of the most incompetent presidents in the history of the United States of America.
So with the help of everyone here today and citizens all across our land, we will make America powerful again.
There's an expression where I come from. God made man, then he made some firefighters. You're all crazy, but I love you. You have my indebted gratitude, and my fire department saved my life, literally, not figuratively. My house got struck by lightning and mostly burned down, had to be rebuilt. Saved, the smoke was so thick, Gov, it was literally that thick, and you couldn't see through the windows or out the windows, and the floors were collapsing. These guys went in and did two things. Most importantly, got my wife out. I was in Washington when it happened. Saved my life, literally, not figuratively. My house got struck by lightning and mostly burned down. And the floors were collapsing. These guys went in and did two things. Most importantly, got my wife out. I was in Washington when it happened.
The Democratic presidential frontrunner Joe Biden is criticizing President Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic, saying President Trump and the federal government should act, quote, more rapidly, and that, quote, speed matters in saving lives.
This afternoon, President Biden telling the nation's governors that there is no federal solution to ending the ongoing pandemic.
Just staying on President Trump for a moment, you said the president should stop misleading Americans. Do you believe he is doing so intentionally to paint a rosier picture?
Well, I've learned a long time ago, never question a person's motive, but you can question their judgment. And his judgment is that many of the things he says simply are not accurate. And my fire department saved my life, literally, not figuratively. Most importantly, got my wife out. I was in Washington when it happened. Is that many of the things he says simply are not accurate. They're simply not accurate. Like he yesterday was talking to a bunch of governors on the telephone, and he said the first time he heard about needing more tests was on that telephone call.
I always talk about the fact that our testing is so far advanced that we're close to 14 million in testing. 14 million. And would you say China's at, not China, if you would say Germany would be at maybe 3 or 4? 3?
I can tell you.
And South Korea's at a number. You tell us what that number is.
Well, we've been way ahead of South Korea for a long time.
Way ahead of everybody.
Germany.
I don't know where he's been. He's standing on the podium every single day speaking to all of his experts. We badly need more tests, for example. And so the things he says don't seem to comport with what everybody else knows. And I wish he'd listen more to the scientists and think less about the political consequences, like asking the governors if the governors don't appreciate enough what he's doing, that the governor's not a federal shipping clerk. The federal government is in charge.
Right now, states all across the U.S. are trying to deal with a surge in COVID cases, and they're looking to the federal government to provide them with resources and guidance on this issue. But what was agreed upon during today's phone call was that there is no federal response to the pandemic.
There's no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level.
Mr. Vice President, do you think President Trump is responsible for the deaths of Americans?
President Trump is not responsible for the coronavirus. But he is responsible for using all the power at his disposal to be able to deal with this virus by changing the peak, getting down the curve so that we move in a direction where instead of going up like this, we're going like this.
And the fact is now more people have died under Biden's coronavirus watch than under Trump's. And remember, Biden campaigned on this as a candidate. He said anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain president of the United States of America.
Anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States of America.
Now, back when he was a candidate, Biden promised to shut down the virus. Then once he was president, he bashed GOP governors for not doing enough.
I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country, but I'm going to shut down the virus. I'm not going to shut down the country. I'm going to shut down the virus. I'll put in place a plan to deal with this pandemic responsibly. I've already done it. We will deal honestly with the American people. And we'll never, ever, ever quit. That's how we'll shut down this virus. I'm going to shut down the virus. I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm going to shut down the virus.
Now the president is singing a much different tune, saying there's not really much he can do.
Look, there is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level.
How many times did President Biden say, I will shut down the virus? And today we're worse off than when he took the oath of office. And he walked in inheriting 3 different vaccines that President Trump's Operation Warp Speed created for him.